Angelina Jolie wanted to find out whether she could trust her black maid, Maria. The test she conducted by leaving the safe open would yield surprising results. Maria's salary was $2,500. There was $100,000 in the safe, and she thought that she was not being watched. Angelina Jolie's heart was pounding with curiosity as she left the lid of the steel safe in her luxurious Beverly Hills villa open. Inside were $100,000 in cash, valuable jewelry, and important documents. However, this was no ordinary oversight. Everything was part of a secret plan. Angelina had been very careful when hiring Maria. She had checked her references and investigated her background. On paper, everything was perfect. However, the famous actress had a hard time trusting people due to her past experiences. Her previous employees had stolen valuable items from her and sold details of her private life to the media. But what about Maria? Was she different from the others? Maria Santos had been working at Angelina Jolie's luxury villa for only 3 months. She was a 32-year-old mother of 2. After losing her husband in a tragic construction accident, she was struggling to raise her children alone. To make ends meet in Los Angeles' expensive lifestyle, she worked from morning till night. However, she was unaware that she was about to face a major trust test. Maria Santos started work at 8 in the morning. She quietly moved around the house, cleaning and tidying up. After sending her children, Diego and Sofia, to school, she would head to Beverly Hills. Her shift ended at 6 in the evening, and she would return home, carrying the day's fatigue on her shoulders. This routine was the only way she could survive. On the morning of the trust test, she began cleaning the house, unaware of what was about to happen. When she entered Angelina's study, something immediately caught her attention. The safe was open. She quietly approached the safe. The money and jewelry inside were dazzling. Maria froze for a moment. She had never seen so much money and jewelry in one place. Angelina was secretly watching Maria's every move. Her heart was racing. What would Maria do? Would she touch the money? Or would she do the right thing? And then the critical moment arrived. The young woman's hand slowly reached toward the safe, then suddenly pulled back. She was torn between her character, her conscience, and her needs. Her family was drowning in debt. Her son Diego's torn shoes. Her daughter Sofia's missing medicine. They desperately needed money. The more she thought about it, the more the battle inside her raged. The young mother's thoughts were very complicated. Angelina Jolie had hired her and entrusted her with her home. But in the other half of her heart, there were her family's needs. This money could pay for Diego's private school and Sofia's entire treatment. Angelina watched Maria intently, almost holding her breath. This test was difficult not only for Maria, but also for herself. She wanted to be able to trust the people around her again. Maria looked at the money in the safe again. But then she remembered the kindness Angelina had shown her, and a memory from the previous month came to mind. Her son Diego had fallen down the stairs and injured his knee. They needed money for the hospital bills. At that time, Angelina had taken care of Diego's medical expenses without hesitation. This memory caused a pang in Maria's heart. Angelina was not just an employer. She was someone who valued and cared about the people around her. But in return, she always saw betrayal and disloyalty from those close to her. As she watched Maria out of the corner of her eye, she thought about these things. Would she face the same betrayal again? Or would she find true loyalty? Maria looked at the money and jewelry in the safe once more. Then tears welled up in her eyes. No, she couldn't do it. Because she was not that kind of person. She had a pure heart, a proud and honest character. She had to teach her children to be honest people, and to do that, she had to be honest herself, no matter what. Money had to be earned the right way. Then she took a deep breath and slowly closed the safe with her trembling hands, and she locked it carefully. She had won a victory against the devil inside her. But the real surprise was about to begin. 1 minute. Before we continue with our story and its surprising ending, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Let us know in the comments what city you're watching from. Your valuable support is important to us. Her hands were still shaking as she began to gather the cleaning supplies. Every movement was difficult. A small voice inside her whispered, "You did the right thing." And she was proud of herself. Just then, a voice was heard in the room. "Maria." The young woman froze. It was Angelina's voice. When she slowly turned around, she found Angelina standing at the door, and the two women locked eyes. "Ms. Jolie, I closed the safe. It was open," said Maria, her voice trembling slightly. Angelina slowly entered the room. "Thank you, Maria." "You're welcome. It's important for security." But this was no coincidence. Maria would soon learn Angelina Jolie's true intentions. "Maria," Angelina paused. "Can we talk?" "Of course." They both went into the living room. Angelina's face was tense and tired. "Maria, I have to confess something to you," Angelina said. "The safe was left open on purpose." The words seemed to hang in the air. Maria looked at her in shock. "On purpose?" "Yes. I was actually testing you." The expression on the young woman's face changed. "Testing me?" "But I had my reasons for doing it. I've had some very bad experiences in the past, Maria. People I trusted always let me down. That's why. I'm sorry, but I suspected you too. But when I realized you weren't like that, I regretted what I did." Maria listened silently. "I realize now that what I did was wrong," said Angelina. "You've been working here for 3 months, and you've always been honest. I had no right to suspect you." Maria's question was quite reasonable and sharp. "Then why are you telling me this? You could have chosen not to mention it." "Because I'm ashamed, and I want to apologize." Maria stood up. "Ms. Jolie, I'm very surprised. Frankly, what you did made me feel bad and hurt my pride." "I understand, Maria. You're right. You know I have 2 children to take care of. Our financial situation may be difficult, but I have never asked for anything more than what I am entitled to." "I know. You are a very honest person." Maria asked, wondering about the future. "So what will happen now?" "You can continue working if you want, but if you don't want to continue, I will understand." Actually, everything would start from that day on. That evening, Maria returned home deep in thought. Her children were waiting for her at the door as usual. "Mom, how was your day?" Diego asked. "It was a different day," Maria said. "Very different." Sophia asked curiously. "Different in a good way or a bad way?" "A little of both," Maria said honestly. "But I have things to think about." While preparing dinner, her mind was in turmoil. Angelina's test had upset her, but her reaction afterwards had been sincere. People could become paranoid when they had been hurt by those they trusted in the past. But still, being part of such a game made her feel like a puppet. However, he would later understand in a frightening way why Angelina had done such a test. Diego asked her at dinner, "Mom, is something wrong?" "No, son, I'm just thinking." "What are you thinking about?" "Sometimes people find it hard to trust each other, especially if they've been hurt before." Sophia thought about it with her little head. "Didn't you trust us at first?" she asked innocently. Maria smiled. "You are my children. I have always trusted you. But when meeting new people, everyone is cautious." "What will you do?" asked Diego. "I will be patient. Trust takes time." That night, after the children had gone to bed, Maria thought long and hard. Angelina's apology was sincere, and that job was Maria's only source of income. She couldn't burn that bridge for her children's future. The next morning, she had made her decision. She would go back to work. But this time, her new job wouldn't be cleaning. A big surprise was waiting for her. When she arrived at the luxurious villa's front door, she was met with a surprising sight. Angelina Jolie was waiting for her at the door. "Maria, thank you for coming. I thought you wouldn't come." "I thought the same. But we need to talk." "Of course, let's talk inside." The two of them went into the living room and sat down. Maria had gathered her thoughts, and they were looking into each other's eyes. "I thought a lot about what you did yesterday, Ms. Jolie. I didn't like being tested. But I know you have a point. You've had bad experiences in the past. I'm also a mother in a difficult situation. We both have to be careful." Angelina was impressed by the young mother's maturity. "You're very understanding, Maria," she said. "To be honest, I want you to continue working here. But you won't be working as a cleaner anymore. I have an offer for you." Maria waited curiously. "I'm listening." Angelina took a deep breath. "I want you to work as a house manager." Maria was surprised. "House manager?" "Yes. You'll coordinate all the household tasks. You'll manage the other staff, plan the shopping, organize the appointments. Of course, your salary will increase accordingly. I'm raising your salary from $2,500 to $10,000. This is a big responsibility. You deserve it, Maria. The character I saw yesterday proved that beyond a doubt." Maria wanted to know the details. "What will I be doing in this new job?" 3 days a week you'll handle all the coordination at home, and 2 days you'll work with me. You'll schedule my meetings and organize my special events." Maria asked excitedly. "Do you really think I can handle this responsibility?" "I'm very confident. You have a natural talent for organization. I've seen how you manage your home." However, Maria had a concern. "What about my children? Will the work hours be longer?" Her voice betrayed a mother's worry. "No. On the contrary, it will be more flexible. Meetings are mostly during the day. If there are evening events, I'll let you know in advance." Hearing these words, the young mother felt relieved. She gladly accepted this offer that would completely change her life and that of her family. But there was one more small problem. The other employees, would they be happy to see this woman, who had been working as a cleaner just the day before, as their manager? Would they accept her authority? She asked Angelina the question that was on her mind. What will the other employees say? I'll suddenly be their boss. I'll talk to them. This is my home and I make the rules. Just focus on your work. That was the end of the matter. When Maria returned home that evening, she was in a very different mood. As soon as her children saw her, they immediately noticed the glow on her face and the sparkle in her eyes. "Mom, you look so happy," said Sophia. "Yes, something incredible happened today." Diego asked curiously. "What happened?" "I got a promotion. I'm going to be the house manager." But it wasn't just at work. They had also been promoted in life. "What does that mean?" asked Sophia. "It means more responsibility and a higher salary, sweetheart," Diego said excitedly. "So we'll be able to live more comfortably now." "Yes, son. The sports shoes you wanted so much, Sophia's medicine, the bicycle you both wanted so much. Everything will be easier now. But first, I need to be successful in this new job." "You can do it," said Diego, "because you're the hardest working mom in the world." Hearing these words while sipping her soup, Maria couldn't help but smile. That night, after the children had gone to bed, Maria began making plans. This opportunity would change their lives. She could enroll Diego in the school of her dreams and pay for Sophia's private lessons. But there was one thing he didn't know. In his new job, he would witness such a dark event with his own eyes that even he would find it hard to believe. On Monday, she took her first step toward a new life and a new job. Angelina explained the entire system of the house to her. Which companies they worked with, appointment schedules, supplier lists. This job seems quite complicated and difficult. It seems that way at first. But you're a very smart woman. I'm sure you'll get used to it quickly. During the first week, Maria took notes on everything. She wrote pages and pages every day, and Angelina's assistant Julie helped her. Maria is learning very quickly, Julie told Angelina. She's very organized. I knew I made the right decision, Angelina said. Maria, you're more organized than I am, Angelina said with a smile. Thank you, Ms. Jolie. Maria had completely settled into her new job. It was as if she had been doing it for years. With her increased salary, her children's lives had also changed. Diego had started a new school, and Sophia was taking dance lessons. Maria was now Angelina's right-hand woman. Everything was going perfectly. Until Marcus Rivera, the new security guard, started working. Marcus was in his 30s, handsome and very professional. With his dark suit and impeccable posture, he looked like a true security expert. He was the security company's top recommendation. He had excellent references and a clean background. On paper, he was the ideal candidate. However, this was only on paper. What was truly shocking would come to light. Nice to meet you, Marcus, Angelina said on the first day. The security of my home is in your hands. Don't worry, Ms. Jolie. I'll provide you with full protection. His voice was reassuring and professional, and there was a sincere expression in his eyes. But Maria had started noticing strange things about Marcus. During the first week, Marcus was very careful. He would arrive early every morning and first check the perimeter of the house. He examined every corner, learned the security system, and took notes on the routines. He always had a small notebook in his hand and was constantly jotting things down. Normal, Maria told herself. A new security guard would naturally want to learn everything. But in the second week, strange details caught her attention. Maria noticed that Marcus was following Angelina's daily schedule in great detail. Even when Angelina wasn't home, he was constantly wandering around inside. He seemed to be photographing private areas and rummaging through closets. This made Maria feel uneasy, and she began to watch this man more closely. In the third week, Maria witnessed a very strange scene. At exactly 2:30 a.m., when she went down to the kitchen to get a drink of water, she found Marcus listening at Angelina's bedroom door. He had professional-looking headphones on. Marcus, what are you doing? Maria's voice was barely audible. She was trembling with fear. Maria held her breath. Marcus turned around immediately, looking startled. Maria, what are you doing here? I came down to get some water. What were you doing? Security check. I'm on night watch. I heard suspicious noises, so I was checking. But as he spoke, he couldn't meet Maria's eyes. Maria's heart was racing as she returned to her room. Her hands trembling, she locked the door and tried to catch her breath for a while. This was very strange, but she wasn't sure yet. Maybe he was just taking his job seriously. However, the situation was very different from what she had imagined. Marcus had very dark plans. By the fourth week, Maria's suspicions were confirmed. When she approached Marcus's parked car, she peered inside through the rear window. She saw professional cameras and audio recording devices in the trunk. This expensive-looking equipment didn't look like normal security gear at all. At that moment, she realized the chilling truth. My God, this man is a paparazzi. But she needed proof. She couldn't accuse Marcus of something he didn't do. Maria couldn't sleep that night, constantly making plans in her head. While Angelina was in the shower, Marcus entered the bedroom. He approached the room very carefully, trying not to make a sound. He took a small camera out of his jacket and placed it in the corner of the wardrobe. Maria was shocked when she saw it. Her legs started shaking, and she had trouble breathing. This man was trying to record Angelina's most private moments. Despite her trembling hands, she quickly took out her phone and recorded the spy. Every movement, every moment was captured on camera as he placed it. When Marcus finished and left, Maria was gasping for breath. Her back was pressed against the wall. Her heart was beating so fast it felt like it was going to burst out of her chest. But an even bigger shock was waiting for her. She heard a voice from Marcus's phone. "Jake, this is Marcus. How's the material going?" "Perfect, Jake. I'm recording every detail of Angelina's private life. Everything is in my hands." Marcus's voice no longer sounded like that of a security guard. It was much harsher and more calculating. "Great. These photos are worth millions of dollars. Keep going. Don't let anyone suspect a thing." Maria couldn't believe what she was hearing. This wasn't just a secret recording. It was organized crime. Marcus continued, "Tomorrow, Angelina has a private meeting with the kids. I'll record those moments too. The tabloids will go wild." "Perfect. Just be careful. No one must find out your real identity." Maria now realized that the children were also in danger, and fear gave way to anger. She had to act immediately. Angelina's children were in danger. She rushed to Angelina's room. Breathless, her hands trembling, she knocked on the door. "Ms. Jolie, there's an emergency." "What happened, Maria?" Angelina opened the door. "Marcus. He's not a real security guard. He's a paparazzi. He's secretly recording you." "What? That's impossible. The company checked his references." Angelina's expression turned from shock to horror. "Look." Maria showed her the video on her phone. The footage of Marcus placing the camera was clear and distinct. They then pulled the camera out from where it had been hidden. Angelina's face darkened. How is this possible? In my home, in my private space." Her voice was trembling. Her hands were clenched into fists. "It gets worse, Ms. Jolie. He was planning to record tomorrow's meeting with the children as well." "My children?" "Never." Angelina's voice was trembling. Her maternal instinct kicked in, and a warrior's light appeared in her eyes. "What are we going to do?" Maria was worried. "We'll call the police, but first we need to get hold of all his recordings." Maria explained the plan. "I'll act normal around him. You pretend you're not home. The police will arrive while he's trying to set up the cameras." Maria's voice grew more determined as she spoke. "That's a great plan, Maria." The next morning, both were tense, but the plan worked perfectly. Angelina left the house pretending to be normal. Maria continued her usual routine. Marcus didn't suspect a thing. Police officers were secretly positioned around the house. At noon, Marcus entered the bedroom. He began installing the new cameras. Just then, "Hands up! Police!" 4 police officers burst through the door. Marcus's face turned white as a sheet, and the equipment in his hands fell to the floor. I was just doing a security check." His voice cracked, and he was gasping for breath. "Yes, it looks very secure," Detective Johnson said sarcastically. Dozens of recordings were found in Marcus's car. Everything had been filmed illegally. "How long have you been doing this?" the police asked. "I didn't do anything. This is a trap." But the evidence was clear. Phone records, videos, equipment. Marcus's true identity was revealed. Jake Morrison, a member of a notorious paparazzi gang. When the handcuffs were put on, Marcus bowed his head, his mask completely fallen off. He was quickly taken to the police car to be taken to jail. Maria stood in the corner watching the events unfold. Her heart was still racing. "Maria," Angelina said, approaching her, "you saved my life. Who knows what this man had recorded? I was just doing my job." "No, Maria. You protected the family. You protected my children." Angelina's eyes were filled with tears as she looked at Maria with gratitude. That evening, the police handed over all the recordings to Angelina. None of them had leaked to the media. "If it weren't for Maria," said Detective Johnson, "those images would have been broadcast around the world." Angelina turned to Maria. "I don't know how to thank you. You're not just an employee anymore, Maria. You're the protector of this family." That night, as she told her children the story, Maria thought, "Sometimes the greatest evils come from those who seem most trustworthy." But if you stay vigilant, you can protect your loved ones. And so, Maria Santos had once again proven her loyalty, saving Angelina from a major scandal. True protection isn't provided by guns, but by attention and love. If you enjoyed this inspiring story, subscribe to my channel and don't forget to turn on notifications. See you next time for another story.